we need to be attentive. We need to limit the activities, both religious and non, that take us away from making the children our main focus.
Having a trusted adult that, wants the best for you is who you would speak to, and also asking questions.
And raising them here means learning about this society and guiding them as much as we can in the society, even with the values that we have, which are a combination of where we've lived.
Just be seen and up. In fact, when we were growing up, as soon as daddy's car is in the garage, everybody take cover. So a lot of fathers still maintain that, persona even here in the diaspora.
When you have to take vacations, take them with vacations. Do stuff with them that that when you're gone, they will remember you for life.
So my question is in relation to, I know we talked about family and mental health. So my question is really geared towards married couples and how can we foster or be supportive to each other through in that aspect of mental health, especially in this age of Black maternal health, postpartum depression, masculinity, especially since at least my generation, right? We're not just marrying those of us that grew up here, but we're also now having relationships where, just like, Uncle Lou, like those of us that grew up here, they're now marrying spouses that grew up in Nigeria. And, I think there's always that constant assumption that this generation, our age, we're more open to mental health. We have these discussions, but is that really true in that age where we're now as I said, marrying men that came from Nigeria, where mental health isn't such a big conversation. Yeah. So, how do we foster that conversation with each other, and how do we be more supportive of each other in our marriages?
Okay. Dr. Kerry.
Great question. Of course, couples have to be one, but they cannot be one if one is mentally sick and the other is not. And the only way they can be, if one is mentally sick and the other is the one that is healthy, realize what is going on with the sick one. And once you see there is need to connect and be able to carry one another, it's and I say this because a lot of times, I'll give you an example. We look at it, mental health only as depression and psychiatry and schizophrenia. Let's take a couple where one is a drunk and the other is not. And you ask the man married to the woman that drinks, she drinks in the closet, but when she drinks, she's all done. And at some point, if he does not have the sensitivity to be able to recognize that we are in trouble as opposed to she's in trouble, as he will keep distancing himself until there's a break in the family. But when you recognize that there's some problem that is making her drink, am I the problem? Then there's a path to walking through it, because you can take her and you can both go see therapists. You can go both see a doctor, so that you will recognize the things that you need to deal with. She will recognize the things she needs to deal with, and that way the couple can be together, have family therapy that will take them to where they should be.
Yes, Dr. Yemi, please.
And I think another thing with that is, again, emphasizing, Dikinolu was alluding to self-care. Self-care includes finding out about your person, before you join your person to another person. So that becomes very important for when we are in the premarital phase. So self-care then also includes you establishing a preventive mental health care. All right, that way you're able to identify the things you don't want to join your life to. So fast forward, we've already joined our lives to this. And one thing I want to say is, it's very easy for me as a physician to tell you, go and see a therapist, right? And I always tell everyone that comes to me, our pastors also, when they intervene in our family situations, should every time and every session say, go and get a therapist. I will be praying for you, okay? So that you have care. But I understand that sometimes it's women and it's men, they don't want to go. There's nothing you're going to say that they're going to go with you. I always tell people, go for you. So you start and establish your own care. There's something that is spiritually, I think, advised, is that when you want to change somebody else's behavior, you change yours first, right? They may just suddenly see you're not snapping anymore, and they're like, what is this girl cooking and eating that she's not giving me? So you go and get your own self-care, because your self-care, mental self-care, can also help you balance, the friction that you're facing. Also, in the premarital phase, let's encourage buddy systems. The pastor cannot attend to 500 marriages. So while we are in premarital classes or counseling or teaching, advise buddy system with older couples, older, more experienced, disciplined couples, so that you have somebody who has been through the road you're walking, and you don't have to walk it fresh.
Yeah, go ahead.
Just wanted to add to the responses to Anos's question. The journey of marriage also requires us to learn about our spouses. My lovely wife, Teju, whenever she has a project that she's working on, she can be so focused on it to the exclusion of everything else. And early in our marriage, I thought that was just self-centered. But then over years, I've learned that she just needs to focus. It doesn't mean she's self-centered. She just needs to focus on what it is she's working on at that time. And so that's taught me to also try to figure out other things about her. I mean, I don't know everything about her, and I'm still learning, which you're always doing, because don't forget that we evolve as human beings, and we grow and we mature. So it's a constant learning process. Now, are we curious enough to be open to continuous learning? That's a question for all of us as we, because marriage now is cross-cultural, it's cross-continent, yeah.
Thank you so much for that.
I know that we all, especially those who have health insurance, it's important when you see your primary care doctor to ask for a mental health. Even if I will say we, that think we are sane, we're not all sane. We look sane, we dress sane, but we're not all sane. Sometimes we just need to sit down. I have some doctor friends, you go and just vent. Sometimes that venting, that's a mental health solution for you. So sometimes we just need to go and vent. And if you don't know where to go, ask your primary care doctor for a referral. They will give you a referral to see somebody. Even if it's once a month, if you can't afford once a week, or have a healthy friend, like they said before. Another thing, I think I mentioned this pre-COVID. I think I mentioned it to Dr. Akere before the COVID hit. We have ministers on duty, and I mentioned that we need to include a health professional on duty as well as a mental health professional on duty. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that contribution.
At what point do we able to factor in the place of faith supplementarily or otherwise?
My question is, how like when people seek help, how are they going to be confident that their faith will not be questioned? Because here's the thing, when I go to people and you talk to them about this, and they look at you like, oh, you don't have faith. You should trust God. So how do we demarcate this? Ensuring that your faith will not be questioned. Coming out to talk to us doesn't mean you don't have faith. Thank you.
Thank you.
In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. Faith never leaves. Faith is the foundation of our existence. So us going out to seek for high blood pressure medication does not negate our faith. Faith is constant. It's ongoing. It's wavering also. So you have to be, that's why they said we shouldn't forsake the assembly of the brethren, so that when you're down, I can be up, and when I'm down, you can be up. So faith is at the foundation. That's how we factor in faith. We're all here because of faith. We got into our cars thinking it would start because of faith. Faith is always in operation. So faith never leaves. And we gave an example before. If there is a head laceration that is spilling blood onto the floor, faith is there, but you're not going to stay at home because of faith. You're going to bind that laceration, take it to where they can suture it, and stop and address it. So faith is always at play through everything, through counseling, through medication. So faith and spirituality for spiritual problems, counseling and seeking a mental health therapist for mental health problems. And in answer to that question that you had about, people thinking that your faith is not as strong, this type of conversations, openness, creating awareness, again, normalizing it, destigmatizing it, and personalizing it. Once we know that a lot of us are going through the same thing, it's because of our quiet and silent, traditions. Culturally, you don't say everything outside. So once people know that this is more common than not, they will be good to open up. So that's my 2 cents.
Thank you. Did you want to go ahead?
So one day I finished a talk in church on depression. Actually, it was a sermon, but it was depression that I discussed. And I finished and was walking off. A pastor approached me and said, "Is there no balm in Gilead?" Because all I talked about at the end of it was counseling and medicine. I didn't talk about, So I went and did the research on the balm of Gilead. And so the balm of Gilead, in Gilead they had trees that produced oil. And that oil was medicinal. And you use it to heal a lot of illnesses by either rubbing it on or drinking it and all of that. And so called the balm of Gilead. It's medicine. Having said that, I am one that believes that God created us after he has put everything that we need on earth. The herbs, the leaves, and everything. And those things are what became our medicine. I don't know how much time we have, but in 1 minute I will tell you that the origin of the tablets and medications that you have now all came from herbs. That's why you have dogoyaro producing quinine. I told the story of a sailor that went to Africa. Before he left for Africa, his heart rate was, he went to see the doctor, the pre-travel check, and his heart rate was too high. So the doctor said his heart rate is too high and all of that. I said, well, I'm the head of the boat. We're going. They went. And by the time he came back, his heart rate was normal. And the doctor asked, what did you do? He said, he brought it back. He brought the leaves back that he was using in Africa. Guess what it was? Quinine.
Quinine, dogoyaro.
So that's how the quinine that we use today, the one we use to control arrhythmia. But the way in Africa they use it for malaria. We use it for controlling heart rate. That's how it works. So the leaves and all of those, that's where the pills came from. So yes, there is faith. The faith is taking it and believing it will work.
Awesome. Thank you all so much. We've come to the end of the show. And I just want to say thank you to our panelists. Weren't they such wise people? Did I choose the wisest panel? And to our experts, Mr. Tayo Oladejo, thank you. Ask. What did he say? Ask. A-S-K. Okay. Ask, seek, and knock. Okay. So to you all, please give yourselves a round of applause. And we have Dr. Tade Talks gift bags for everyone. There's goodies in there, Nigerian goodies. There's small chops, jollof rice. So enjoy. And in there is a copy of my book, No, Not My Son. Please read, share. And if you would like me to sign the book for you, I will be here waiting right after. And also, if you would like to take pictures with myself and the panelists, please, we'll be up here. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel. For those of you that have not subscribed, Dr. Tade Talks, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and share. And we're on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. What's the other one called? TikTok. TikTok. I love you all, and I really appreciate your coming today. Thank you, and God bless.